Welcome to another edition of It's All Relative. I'm Josh.
And I'm Timothy.
And we are laying down episode 15.
We're on number 15, 1-5.
First and foremost, since we've been doing these every other week, I want to bring up last week and quickly wish you, my man, a happy birthday.
Well, thank you, brother.
36.
Appreciate that. I'm an old man now.
Oh, I was going to say old man.
Yeah.
How was it?
Yo, it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. Very chill. Got all of the happy birthdays out.
Nice.
Parents called, cousins and everybody called, and they were all saying, oh, you're an old man. We're going to start calling you Uncle Tim now.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I have embraced the uncle status. It's okay.
Yeah. How'd you spend your day?
Basically
Anything
chilling
special?
at home.
Yeah?
Chilling at home and working on a couple of consoles that I was repairing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. April 9th.
April 9th.
Your birthday, though, now will be forever remembered by the world also because it was the day that we lost DMX.
Yep.
Another legend.
Another legend.
Yeah, he leaves us all with the art he created, and for that, we are forever grateful.
Yeah, we are. We love him.
Yeah,
we love him.
Always held it down for New York.
Yes, he did.
Put Yonkers on the map.
He definitely did. Had no idea what Yonkers was before him.
Right.
Yeah.
We talked about his music in the last episode, but he also acted in a few movies. Mm-hmm. Have you ever seen any?
Yeah, I have.
Which one? Do you remember?
Yeah,
Belly was one.
Belly was one, right? Okay.
Yeah, no, that was a dope one.
So Belly, Exit Wounds. I think everybody knows him for Exit Wounds. Yeah, that was probably one of his most powerful pieces as well. Yeah.
Did you have a favorite?
Not necessarily. I mean, actually, Romeo Must Die was a favorite.
Yeah, I was gonna say Romeo Must Die was dope. My favorite was Cradle to the Grave.
Cradle to the Grave.
I love that one.
Actually, rest in peace to Aaliyah too.
Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely.
They together now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, either way, DMX, man.
DMX, bro.
He'll, like I said, legend, forever remembered.
Yes, sir. Forever loved.
Yeah.
Man, 50 is too young. It's too young.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah. Oh, also on the flip side, your boy, what is his name? The one prince in the UK also passed on my birthday.
Who's that?
What is that? I want to say Prince Charles, but it's not Prince Charles. Prince, was it Philip? I can't even remember, but he was 99 years old. And the man went and croaked on my birthday as well. 99? Yeah. Man, that's crazy.
Damn, almost to 100.
Almost to 100.
That would have been dope.
He didn't make it, though.
Yeah, no, I didn't know too much about that, so no, that sucks, though.
Yeah.
I know, that's sad.
Actually, I had to just pull it up real quick, just so we'd be on point. Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh.
Okay.
I know. Yo, you could have passed on the next day. Don't pass on my day. But DMX can. But no, actually, oh, man. Back to DMX, though. It was due to, like, a drug overdose and everything, right?
Right, drug overdose, which I think triggered a heart attack. He went into pretty much a vegetated state, pretty much, that, and he was unresponsive for, like, it was a few days.
Right,
and then they finally decided, I guess, to let the family or the kids decide.
Right. He had a lot
but he
of
had,
kids.
Yeah, I was going to say there was like 9 or...
9 of them, yeah.
Maybe more. I can't remember.
Probably.
Quite a few kids.
What can we do?
And then, that was the decision, so...
Yeah. I was just talking to it with my girl. I was like, after day 3, 4, and nobody heard of him, I'm like, this man is gone if he's still comatose like that. Yeah. Yeah, in such a state.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's unfortunate, man. Rest in peace to him.
Yeah, absolutely. Rest in peace, DMX.
Yep.
Anything else?
Oh, so now, I mean, unless you want to hit the current events, is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, Doge. Have you heard of it, sir?
No, I have not.
The cryptocurrency Doge has exploded, bro.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So put me onto it, bro.
Put you onto it? So you know about cryptocurrency, like Bitcoin and everything, right?
Yeah, Bitcoin.
Ethereum and all that?
I'm familiar with Bitcoin, but not too much. I'm not too deep into it. I just, I know it's a big buzz. I know it's the it currency.
It is the it currency. Yeah.
So, but besides that, like I said, I'm not too deep into it. So put me on, bro.
Well, I mean, the gist of it is that cryptocurrency is not fiat. It's not, it's not something tangible. It's something that is digital, and the value behind any sort of cryptocurrency is what faith is put behind it. So technically, you can put faith behind any, crypto coin or cryptocurrency that someone puts out there. If there's enough confidence in it, the price will rise. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, Doge is actually what's known as a meme coin. You know what memes are, right? Yeah, like jokes and stuff.
I was gonna say the shit.
I have to ask just to see.
Okay, the shit on Instagram.
Yeah, send it on Instagram. Yeah, and it's a meme. Since it's a meme, it's supposed to be taken as a joke, right?
Right.
And it's like, okay, this is a meme coin. They have based it on this thing called Doge, which is like a Shiba Inu. It's a meme of a Shiba Inu.
Damn, bro, you speaking English?
Yo, I'm speaking English, bro.
No, I'm just kidding. This is beyond me, bro. Like I said,
you want me to compress it a little bit more?
This is crazy. Like, okay, so if people have this, whatever this currency,
right? This currency.
Let's say I want to go and buy some. I got some of this, and I want to go buy some.
Right?
How do I use that? How do I do it?
So there's many different ways, bro. We could turn this into an entirely new conversation.
All right, give me the quick run.
The quick one. Yeah. If you want the quick one, you do what I did and use Robinhood, the Robinhood app.
Okay, right on.
And you can put money in that account and you buy the cryptocurrency of your choosing. With that said, like about I put in about like $1,000 worth of Doge.
Okay.
Yeah, I made more money like in the last 2 days than I have in like the last 10 months.
Nice.
That's how well it's doing.
Okay, so
that's how well it's doing.
You definitely recommend this.
I definitely recommend it.
Robinhood thing.
Yeah, I recommend the Robinhood app and look at that Doge. The price has already jumped up from. It used to be like a tenth of a penny. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That was its value.
Right.
That was like 3 months ago. Now the value is, I think it's hovering between like 32 cents and 40 cents.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy.
Big jump. Yeah.
It's a good jump. So imagine the people that bought about 10, like about a million of them, not 10, but a million of the Doge when it was worth nothing.
Shit,
as soon as it hit 6, some people already became a millionaire. They cashed out. Right. But they missed out because everyone cashed out at 6. So now people that are cashing out at like 40 cents and everything, they multimillionaires. And they probably spent like $500 or less back then.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it ain't like that anymore, but you can still buy in because Doge is projected to be much higher than $1.
Cool.
You know what I mean? So yeah, go buy Doge.
All right on. I just wanted to touch something real quick. I just wanted to say that on April 15th, my family and myself, we lost, it feels like a member of our family. We lost one of our dogs that we had for 14 plus years.
Damn, sorry, bro.
I appreciate that.
Man.
The only reason why I'm even mentioning it or bringing it up is just because that I just wanted to thank. There was like mad people, bro, that reached out and sent messages and like phone calls and texts and stuff, and like that meant a lot. You know what I'm saying? So, that's to me and my family, and that we're very thankful for that. You know what I'm saying?
I was just gonna say, just for like the audience, what's your pup's name? What was his name?
His name was Marley.
Marley. Bless. Yeah. How did he get that name?
All right. So I had gotten him when I was pretty much a kid. I was 21 or 22.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And
grew up together.
Absolutely. And people who know me, cannabis has always been a big thing with me. And Bob Marley. I got him, and I thought and
Buffalo Soldier.
And legit too. Yeah, no, shout out, I like that song too.
Yes, sir.
Legitly too, I had gotten Marley and I had named him Marley before the movie Marley and Me came out.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Shout out to Marley and Me. Beautiful movie.
Yeah, that shit's sad.
Very sad.
But no, man, like when I had him too, like he had literally been up and down the whole East Coast with me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
New York, Virginia, Florida. Like
I saw a number of pictures that you put up. I mean, like everywhere you were, you're on a boat, he's right there. You footballing him everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we can tell the closeness.
No, yeah, he was my man. Yeah.
Rest in peace to him.
Absolutely. I just wanted to, say there were 3 special thank yous. there was one individual, you know, and I don't even know if these people are going to hear this or whatnot, but I thought it was important to say, you know, because
put it out there.
It meant a lot to me and my family. But there was one person in particular who dropped off flowers.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, and that meant a lot.
God bless him.
There was another person who dropped off like a card that him and his wife had wrote separate messages on it, and that was super special, man. That meant a lot to me.
Holy crap.
Yeah, and my family.
Right.
And there was one more person who actually came by, and this person had known Marley probably around the time, like right when I had got him, or maybe a few years after, but he knew him pretty much his whole life. So he came by, you know, to basically give his condolences, and like, you know, he didn't know too much, you know, what to say, but he came by and dropped off.
He came by.
And dropped off some Blu-rays because he was like, you know, in case you wanted to laugh or whatever.
Right.
So, you know, that meant a lot too. So like those three people, you know what I'm saying? There was if they hear this, you know who you are, and you know, me and my family definitely want to thank you guys.
And God bless you.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it's a tragedy. I just want to basically like leave it at, you know, I feel like the best way to explain it, you know, and I feel like a lot of people can relate, is that when you're a kid and your dog dies, you know, it's like losing a friend.
Yeah, it is.
But when you're an adult and you lose a dog, you know what I'm saying, that you had as a kid, it's like losing a part of yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So.
It is.
Tough.
Man, I'm sorry, bro.
Nah, I appreciate it.
That was powerful, bro.
No.
Trying to tear me up here.
Nah. But let's get into it, bro.
All right.
So today's topic is one that people follow and are very intrigued by. All right. When it's mentioned, like, interest levels go super high. You know, when I was looking for someone who was knowledgeable on the subject and would want to come on, our guest's name was recommended to us multiple times.
Oh, is that so?
Yes. So, coming to share with us possibly two different stories involving serial killers with us. Ladies and gentlemen, Melissa Parker.
All right.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm glad I was recommended. I'm sure it was probably by my sister multiple times, but my biggest fan.
Shout outs to your sister.
Shout outs to Bonnie.
Yeah, we won't mention then who, but yes, you were mentioned multiple times. So we want to thank you for coming on. It's all relative, you know. And,
thank you. Welcome.
Giving us some of your time.
Yeah, thank you. This is interesting. I did catch up on some of the podcasts. And
word.
It is. I like it. It has become one of my subscribed podcasts on my iPhone.
Well, thank you.
We appreciate that. That's dope.
Honor is all ours now. Thank you. Is there any favorite episode that you have, or any favorite topic, let's say?
So by default, I do have to say the one about the Giants because my brother did it.
Okay.
But for fair enough.
Shout out to the Giants, I guess.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Giants.
Always.
I have only begun to listen to about 3 or 4 of them.
Okay.
Because of my topic, I did obviously like Kendall Francois.
Kendall Francois. Wow, that was a great episode.
Interesting guy, especially I mean, he was a janitor at the middle school.
Who would
have thought? You know, it's everybody you don't expect. So.
No.
Yeah.
Good topics.
Good topics. Thank you.
Appreciate that. No, that's cool. That's dope. But tell us and the listeners a little bit about yourself.
So a little bit about myself. I'm 25. I am a Navy veteran. I did serve on...
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. Thank you for your support.
Thank you.
I did serve on the USS George Washington.
Okay.
I did time on the USS Kearsarge, and I deployed with the USNS Trenton to the Mediterranean.
Damn.
I only did...
You were all over.
Yeah. Well, with the Navy, you know, you see the world, but the world is like 90% water. So
actually.
That's how they get you.
Wow.
But I did see the Mediterranean.
How was the Mediterranean? Like, can you explain?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It is exactly what you would expect. Crystal blue water.
Wow.
On my deployment, I actually did get the chance to fish. I didn't catch much, but a bunch of knots in my line. Other than that, the water, though, just being able to,
being able to see through the water.
Being able to see through it and see down, it was amazing. But
Wow.
I did see 4 countries. I saw, well, not 4 countries. I saw Crete, and then I saw Athens, Greece. I saw Croatia and the UK.
All right.
Out of all of that, Croatia was probably my favorite for the food and the way the towns were. Other than that, Crete was amazing. The beaches are beautiful. The food is great. I ate right on the water.
Right.
Everything is fresh. One thing that they do try to pull on you is everybody's so friendly, but really everybody's got to make $1. So
of course, everybody's on the hustle.
Everybody hustles. But other than that, I mean, the area, beautiful. The drivers, crazy. People think New Jersey drivers are out there.
Yeah,
no,
Jersey over there.
Greece drivers, they drive on the sidewalk. They drive.
Oh wow! Okay,
they
take
drive
away
on,
the license.
Oh, absolutely. And then everything is stick. So the bus that would transport us from the ships to the town, it actually had holes in the floor. Oh, so it's not
I'm
even.
I'm used to that. Actually,
yeah, it's pretty crazy, but.
I've always wanted to visit Greece. I've always thought that would be a beautiful place to see.
You still think it's beautiful given all those crazy drivers?
Not to drive, bro.
No, absolutely.
Stay off the sidewalks.
Yeah.
I recommend it. I mean, if you're into history, I did see the Acropolis and then the Parthenon, I think, what's on the hill. It's beautiful. It was historic. I mean, you can go right up there. I was able to see the view and whatnot.
That's beautiful.
I was gonna say, hold up. How old are you?
I'm 25.
See, that's crazy. You've seen a lot of shit for 25.
Yeah,
that is amazing. That's good for you, though.
Yeah,
that's actually you've seen more than I have. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, even the States, I was able to go to. I was in Chicago. I went to Mississippi, Virginia, North Carolina. I did transport for some of our teams, so I was down to Florida. But the Navy also paid for my food on the way down, the gas, all that stuff. So. I got to see a lot. It was nice.
Yeah, you really have been all over.
Can I ask this personal question then?
Of course.
What was your naval rank?
I was in E4. So
wow.
I was in.
Wow.
It's not a lot.
It's not a lot, but still.
So I was in E4. I was in AG3, Air Officer Mate, 3rd class petty officer. I was a low man on the totem pole, but I had seniority. I did some reserve time. So I was the salty dog out of a couple of the other people who've never been outside of the reserve, so it was nice there. But if you are active duty, E4 is nothing.
Okay. Will you see yourself going back anytime soon?
I have thought about it, and I keep getting text messages that they want me to come back, but I think that door's closed. They've given me a lot. I'm grateful. I've gotten free school, free travel, and a lot of experience. Great friends. Jesus. I've met lifelong friends, and. That's all I could ask for.
You've got more experience than most people will, in their 40s.
In a lifetime.
Lifetime, right?
Yeah, it's awesome. Even one of my most memorable times is we did we were out to sea on the Washington, and unfortunately the ship just kept going out and going out and going out. Well, they wanted to make everybody happy, so they got a swim call. So I got to swim all the way out in the middle of the ocean and jumped off the elevator, and it was crazy because nobody, unless you're in the Navy, you can't say you've done that. And I don't think you're going to jump off a cruise ship. They'll probably leave your ass.
Yeah, definitely. As told by the previous
episode. From our last episode, we ain't jumping in no water.
No water. You should check out the episode if you haven't.
I'll have to. That sounds interesting.
It is very, very much so.
Yeah, awesome. Shout out to the last episode.
Actually.
People need to look it up.
For sure.
So, Melissa, word on the street is that you are very well-versed or well-informed when it comes to serial killers.
I am. I am by no means a professional, but I am intrigued, as is most of the population.
Right.
Very true. Like I said, the world loves, for some reason, they love serial killers. That shit intrigues people.
There's some sort of weird infatuation with it.
Well, it's people like what they can't put an answer to, and a lot of serial killers are very until you interview them, and even then you don't know the why behind it. So people want to know the why, people want to know the story, it's the intrigue.
Very true. Right, the intrigue.
Yeah.
Right. So now the definition of a serial killer is a person who murders 3 or more people, or a person who commits a series of murders, often with no apparent motive, and typically following a characteristic, predictable behavior pattern.
So a particular behavior pattern.
So the definition for a serial killer actually is debatable across many spectrums. People find that it's either too broad, not broad enough. People find that it changes. Some people describe a serial killer acting out of some sort of sexual drive. So then it becomes a sex crime. So some people become not comfortable calling it a sex crime when there's other reasons why there are serial killings. But a lot of serial killers, because they are psychopaths, do get off on that sexual.
Right. There's a component to it.
Exactly.
Right. Is it like a mischaracterization of it, or a characterization of it, I should say?
I would not say it's mischaracterization. I would say it's more or less because they, again, can't put an answer to it because there's such a, widespread, generalized thing that goes on with it.
Right. I mean, the way I'm looking at it, it feels like a part of me wants to say that they're like arguing over semantics.
Yeah, correct. I mean, everybody wants credit when credit is due or not due,
Very true.
All right. So, Melissa, what made you get into serial killers?
So what made me get into serial killers would probably be the fact that, again, like everybody else, they are just something about them is interesting. Whether it's, the why, the how they went undetected. Because again, it's more than one killing. Obviously, most definitions, it's at least 3 over a period of time.
Right.
The difference between a serial killer and let's just say like a mass shooter or a mass killer is killing in the numbers, killing in the time limit. Over time, you've had to have committed a crime and you got away with that crime. You commit another crime and you get away with that. And how? The how behind that is crazy.
Very true.
Yeah, like how do you disappear?
Exactly. Or just how do you...
Gotta be smart.
How do you kill somebody and walk away with a smile and go on to your life?
Okay, on the psychological level, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, wow.
Definitely something wrong with the thought process,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean... I'm more interested in the psychology behind it or the criminology behind it just because no one mind is alike and everybody tries to relate certain serial killers to certain serial killers, but they really are all unique in their own way.
Right. I mean, they are human after all, so they have to be unique by that.
They could be considered human, yeah. Right. I guess so.
Yeah.
That interests me too. Right. I was a psychology major.
Oh,
so
okay.
That stuff is pretty cool. The mind is a wild thing, man. And to try to pinpoint or try to find out reasons why certain people do the crazy things that they do, man. I don't know. That shit can go way back, to like childhood stuff, which I'm sure we'll touch on in a little bit. Do you remember how old you were, how long ago? Like when did you get into this serial killer stuff?
So I got into the serial killer stuff probably just because of my age around when the Zodiac Killer movie came out. I was very interested. And again, he's one of the more notorious serial killers out there. He's not caught. And it's, he's committed so many murders and he still got away with it. And little to nothing. And they'll probably never figure this one out, but that's what caught me. The fact that somebody can do something like that, and being young, it was, I don't know, weird to think about that kind of stuff.
No, but you have all of the energy when you're younger.
Absolutely.
And none of the problems.
Absolutely. Yeah. I went down that rabbit hole. I had my brand new Dell desktop computer, brand new.
Shout outs to Dell.
I was supposed to be doing homework and I watched that movie and I was like, you know what? I want to look up all these cool words that I heard. And so I started typing away and I'm sure it was probably, 11:30, 12 o'clock midnight. I'm supposed to be in bed, but I'm in front of this bright screen and started looking up Ted Bundy and Zodiac Killer and all, anything you could relate to serial killers.
Right. So how did you rate that movie? The Zodiac Killer.
At the time, I thought it was slow, boring, interesting. I would rate it probably now 10 out of 10. Right. Amazing. Wow, okay. I mean, it's a little older, so they could probably do it over again a little better, but... Very
long. I mean, I've seen it. The reason why I asked is because the Zodiac Killer is actually one of my favorite serial killers. Main reason being, which you had touched on and mentioned, Melissa, was the fact that he was never caught.
Right.
Which is scary, but also very intriguing, Also, the fact that he used to fuck with the cops so bad, man. He used to send them letters and messages
and stuff.
All in code.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, dude was slick.
Yeah. I mean, it takes a special type of genius to be able to send code to anybody.
To do all that,
right. And hope they can decode it.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. So this man was definitely smart. And you wonder, is he still alive, or did he get picked up for something else that was, maybe something stupid, and he never ever mentioned that he was. Although I feel like if that were the case, somebody now would definitely claim
it, right?
Yeah.
So I got a question for both of you then. With that being said, how do you guys feel about these more modern times where everyone like makes a meme out of the Zodiac killer?
So I haven't seen many memes, I guess. I mean, I'm not.
There's a couple.
Not too big on social media for one. I mean, I am just as for my business, but other than that, I'm not too much. I would assume it's probably hilarious just to the fact that this man got away with everything, and now they're making a meme out of him.
Right.
It's much higher up there in that level, the fact that he got away with everything, and now he's in a American household name joke or topic
or a meme
point.
or something. They always attack this one politician, Ted Cruz, and always say that he has some sort of relationship.
Oh yeah, okay. Now I know what you're talking about.
Right.
Absolutely.
And then there's other things going on with that too.
Absolutely. I've heard that reference.
Yeah, I haven't. Unfortunately.
Oh, my bad.
Nah, you good, bro. That was interesting.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I'm surprised that the Zodiac Killer is one of your favorites for the fact that he didn't get caught and whatnot, especially because one of the, ones we're talking about, he didn't get caught for so long and only recently got caught.
Right. So actually, let's jump into that then, because like you had mentioned, since we did bring up the Zodiac Killer being in the state of California, let's stick to that and touch on Joseph DeAngelo. Tim, you familiar with the name?
I am not.
Okay.
You're going to have to tell me everything.
Yes. Well, actually, no. It's actually good because I myself am not too familiar either. So, Melissa, fill us in. Let us know who was Joseph D Angelo.
Okay.
So, Joseph D Angelo was actually one of many things. He was known as not only the Golden State Killer, was only coined in the last 10 years to kind of get more, the wheels turning behind trying to catch him. He was also known as EAR-ONS, which is East Area Rapist, as well as original Night Stalker.
Okay.
There was another serial killer who was the Night Stalker, so don't confuse it with that.
Richard Ramirez.
Correct, okay. Absolutely. Right. And Joseph DeAngelo, he's not your average serial killer in the sense that he was a psychopath. When you think of psychopath, obviously Ted Bundy, Jeffrey Dahmer, people who don't have the obvious regulation for emotions. Joseph DeAngelo was a very angry man, and it came through at such a young age. So he actually committed 13 murders, 50 rapes, and 120 burglaries.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a resume.
Busy.
It is.
That's busy.
Busy at doing crazy, messed up things.
Yeah, he was very busy. And, the whole thing behind him is he pretty much got away with it until recently. I mean, it was only until 2018 that he was caught.
How old was he when he got caught?
Oh, he was old, 70s, I think.
Jesus
He's still
Christ.
alive. He avoided the death penalty by confessing to what he could confess to. Obviously, the statute of limitations put a, little damper on what they could hit him with.
Right.
But he brought the death penalty off the table as long as he confessed and as long as he pled guilty. And we'll get to that. He couldn't get hit with all of the rapes and the murders and whatnot.
Wow.
But
how long ago was it?
So he was actually active from 1973 to 1986.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Yep.
And he just decided to retire from it all?
He stopped. They don't really have a true answer as to why he stopped. But
that's strange.
Yeah.
Usually psychopaths or, serial killers or whatnot. Usually, right? Like,
right. Definitely
once you do that stuff so often,
it becomes your way of life.
Right. It's pretty tough to stop.
So
right?
just to clarify though, because he was not a psychopath. He was very angry growing up. He was very angry in adulthood.
Right.
Yeah, and he actually, he was supposedly engaged twice. His one engagement was called off because he did threaten the female at, I believe it was gunpoint to become engaged to him, or else he would kill her. So there's no hidden agendas there.
Things not to do.
Right. Yeah, but he
not kill.
He did get married, and he didn't get divorced until 2019 after he was arrested. So,
did he tell?
I would assume she didn't know because she was married to him for so long. Right. She has crazy. Refused any public interviews, as my
Definitely
knowledge
so.
right now, although that would be very interesting.
Yes.
That's a hell of a book if she writes one.
Oh, that would be a bestseller.
Yeah.
I would read it. But his early life, so pretty much he was born in New York. So he was originally on the East Coast. He was born to a Army sergeant. Mm-hmm. He had 2 sisters, 1 brother. They moved to the West Coast, so he did attend school in California. When he was younger, it's not like, he didn't have any experience, because when he was younger, he did commit some burglaries, and he did torture and kill animals. So
oh, wow.
that is a lot
Is that
of
what
the
he started with animals and
That
stuff?
is what he started with. Okay. It's also very common.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a telling sign.
Yeah,
right.
That is a very telling sign. There was one of his relatives came forward and did say they believed he was abused by his father. So, they don't know how true that is, if it was just a relative was trying to reach out, get some remorse or whatnot. But so it's not like this man, it was a surprise that he would go on to a life of crime.
Right.
He graduated high school. He did join the United States Navy. So...
Yikes.
Yeah, he joined the Navy. He did serve on a destroyer in Vietnam. He served for 22 months, came back.
Did he see action in Vietnam? Do you know?
I'm not quite sure. I would assume so, because Vietnam, it was a bad war.
Yeah,
I mean,
was.
Pretty much anybody who served during Vietnam did see some sort of action. He was on a destroyer. He was actively deployed, so I would assume so. Mm-hmm. I may not know on that one, but he did come back. He went to college. He got his bachelor's in criminal justice studies.
Wow. Okay, that adds another dimension to this entire thing.
Well, are you ready for another dimension onto this? Because we're about to get 4-dimensional.
Oh, no.
So
nice.
He actually did a 32-week internship with the police department.
Oh, wow. Okay.
To even further that, when he got a job with the police department, it was a part of the burglary unit. He was in the burglary unit for about 3 years, 1973 to 1976.
Jesus Christ.
Smart, man.
Yeah.
So he was in the system.
Built up skills.
He was.
Yeah. He learned.
He was in the system. He was a part of the system. Yeah. So definitely interesting stuff. He was first known for his burglaries. He was known as the Viziela Massacre from 73 to 76.
Right.
That's when the first sketch, became.
Viziela.
Yeah, that's when the first sketch came out. And if you ask me, the first sketch was probably it was detailed, and I think it would be connected, but you would never look in that place. Back in the 70s, I'm sure you weren't suspecting police officers to
be like that.
Be criminals,
Right.
Now, what was he stealing when he was breaking into these houses? Did they focus on jewelry,
he would kind of steal whatever he could. Okay. I mean, he would have a lot. He would take things that would be considered what are trophies. I mean, he did that the whole time he was active.
Trophy taker. Yeah.
So he did that the whole time he was active. It's very common with serial killers. I mean, if for anybody who doesn't know, if you've seen the show Dexter, Dexter's trophies are the blood slides.
The blood slides. Yeah.
So serial killers they take something that they can kind of visit again. Actually, one of the things that did link him to crimes later was certain things that he would do. His MO, he would stalk middle-class families. He actually was caught a couple times stalking, and he would have to run. He would make sure there were places that was easily to be able to get away.
So he always had the escape route.
He always had the escape route planned out, whether it was along little river banks or along, places where there was alleyways, if you had fences and then alleyways that connected streets, anything where he could really get away.
Yeah, he would just disappear?
Yeah, he would scale fences, like you said, the escape routes. He would make sure that when he was taking off window screens, they were on sides of houses where he could hit those escape points. So, and most of the time they were on bedrooms, so he could be in and out. And that was, that was until he escalated a little further. But
so I wouldn't be surprised if he was casing the joint just so he could figure out everything.
Oh, he would. They say that even when, he was raping victims, when he would stalk the houses, there was footprints in the dirt so deep from him standing there for so long and watching.
Wow.
So he wasn't doing this, spur of the moment. He was a very concise burglar, rapist, murderer. He would definitely, he was quote unquote seen on roofs. He was seen out of peeking through windows. He was seen.
Your boy was everywhere.
Oh, absolutely.
That's scary.
That's crazy.
Yep.
I'm getting chills thinking about this, man.
Well,
to imagine somebody go to that length. Yeah.
He went as far as he would put, and again, we'll get into this when we go into the rapings and the murders, but even when he burglarized places, he would put stuff on entry points. So he would put plates on the door handles, or he would put, cups, glass, bottles, anything on the door handles to hear when they were coming home.
Damn.
Yeah, so he was smart. He wasn't by any means really doing this, out of like a petty larceny thing where he was taking a couple things here and there. You know, he was taking jewelry, watches. He was known for taking sacks of coins and just stuff that was, expensive, or not just little tiny like a stack of $10 bills or stuff like that. He was the real deal.
He was the real deal.
Yeah,
well, I got a question for you, since it's like that. Since he went to school, went to college for it, and joined the force and everything, was part of his mindset going, like, seeing how far he could go against every convention that he learned?
Oh, I absolutely think that he did it more or less to learn how to get away with it. Not so much as to go against things.
Okay.
I think it was more of like I'm in here and I can see how things are done. I mean, if you're working for burglary and you would like to commit a burglary,
right,
that's the best way to do it.
Jesus.
You could literally take notes what to do and what not to do.
Right.
Right. I feel like that makes the perfect, killer, or,
definitely.
whatever. Like, if you are in that profession, you're basically learning.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what to do, which is crazy. It makes the perfect, because you know exactly what to do and what they're going to be looking for,
when they're going to get there, and
exactly
everything. The timing and everything.
You got a lot of the inside scoop, bro.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he it didn't change across the board when he escalated. His MO was often, and again, this is what connected him. This is one of the things that later on helped to, nail him down. His MO, he would stalk middle-class families, typically, females that lived alone, one-story house near an open space again, and that was to go for the escape route. He was seen, but he always escaped. He did shoot a pursuer.
Shot a pursuer.
Yeah, so it's not like he never came close to getting caught. He definitely did, most people did.
And he fought back.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people saw him, and that there is a lot of sketches that were done, but there was only 3 that were actually used to ID him.
Okay.
Towards the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he did a lot of recon. He actually also, one thing that I found interesting was he would call a lot of his victims to see their schedule. So obviously,
Jesus
people
Christ.
aren't home around 12, 1 o'clock. They're at work. So he would call to kind of plan out when he was going to break in, what he was going to do.
I'm just checking in. Going to take all your stuff.
Smarts, and that's dedication, man, to a job.
That's an obsession almost, in a way.
That's pretty wild. Yo, this is great, but we're going to take a break real quick, all right?
All right.
Before we do that, we want to remind everyone to please continue to spread the word about It's All Relative.
Please.
And you can do that by subscribing, following, sharing, commenting, leaving us a 5-star rating.
Bless it.
Yes, and you can do that on the Apple page.
Mm-hmm.
That being a huge help. And you can find us on Apple, Spotify, Anchor, YouTube, and Google. And with that being said, we'll be right back.
All right.
So I have a question for our listeners out there. Do you own a computer? Are you having trouble with broken screens, data backup issues, password reset problems, virus spyware removal, software installation issues? If so, Slipstream Repair Computer Electronic Solutions has you covered. Contact Timothy Latunde at 845-204-1712. The email is ss.sho16@gmail.com. Once again, that is 845-204-1712. And the email is ss.sho16@gmail.com. Call or email to schedule a free consultation. welcome back to It's All Relative. Still with us in studio, Melissa Parker.
Hello.
So, Tim,
Yo,
real quick, thoughts on Joseph D Angelo?
This man is very interesting. Like, even just from the perspective of, being a burglar, murderer, rapist, and actually taking part in the other side of that, like the law enforcement. You know what I mean? Like the criminology, I guess the things that they go to school over.
So there is one thing I didn't mention too, is the whole reason he was fired is because during his time in the burglary unit, he did get caught stealing.
Oh, okay. He gets caught doing what? Exactly.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's all interesting, though, the law enforcement aspect and everything else.
Everything else, yeah.
That's what I think makes this, very interesting for me. You know what I'm saying? That whole aspect of that, he did have that inside knowledge.
Right.
It makes it pretty cool.
Right. Also, the weirdness about just walking amongst everybody else, knowing that you have that mindset. Like, what stops you from snapping and just like going crazy in there? You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the true difference, if you want to know, between a crime of passion and a serial killer is crime of passion. I mean, you got manslaughter or what can turn into murder if you plan it out. But typically that passion is what makes the difference,
Yeah.
Right.
The desire to go to do that. Oof.
Yep.
That's something else, man. That's another thing entirely.
Yeah, crime of passions, it's a big difference. I mean, crime of passion could be boom, 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 boom. You kill somebody, you stab, 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 stab. So serial killer, he's a little more thought out, a little more methodical, if you will.
Right. He's thinking well beyond like the actual killing itself.
Exactly.
All right, Melissa, you want to lead on with about Joseph D Angelo?
Yeah, so pretty much, I mean, he was the Visalia ransacker 73 through 76. He did get known as the East Area Rapist from 1976 to 79. Again, he was linked between everything because of his MO. He would stalk middle-class females. He would have an open space where he can make a quick escape. Again, most people knew or saw some sort of prowler or somebody kind of lurking, so it's not like they weren't there seeing something. He wasn't invisible.
So let me ask you, there was a specific type then of people he chose as his victims?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay.
Yes. So as he moved on to the East Area Rapist, it would be primarily single females, people that lived alone. One story, single family homes. That way it was a pretty unescapable thing for them. That way it was easy. He wasn't going through upstairs, downstairs. He didn't have to worry about planning. But obviously, he did escalate. He started targeting couples. He would break in. He would wake them up with a flashlight, and he would threaten them with a gun. I'm going to shoot you if you scream. Just something to have that control, that power over them.
Right.
He would often have the female tie up the male and bind them with some sort of rope wraps, anything. And then he would even go a step further, again with the whole breaking and entering thing. Not only did he have the exits and entrances covered in either dishes or bottles, but he would stack plates on the back of the bound significant other and say, if I hear anything or if you make a noise, I will kill her and I will kill you. From there,
That's horrible.
and from there he would rape the female for hours on end. He would rape her multiple times. He would get off. Even after that, he would go ahead and he would continue to steal from them, taking what we know as trophies. That's kind of the part where he was so methodical and he planned it out. He made sure that they would know if you screamed or XYZ, I would kill you and your significant other.
That's horrible. That makes me even think when all this stuff like happened, like those people, can you imagine being like the male like bound like that and like having to hear your wife go through that stuff and like you can't really like, can you imagine like, bro, like if like the amount of anger like,
rage and everything
and the shit that goes through your mind, because you're like, yo, if I just got out of this thing, I would kill you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
and yet if you move, it kills her.
Exactly. So like, oh my God, that's horrible to even think about.
Yeah, and again, I do want to reiterate, he had 50 rapes under his belt, so it's not like it wasn't
So
one or two things. It was an ongoing thing.
Right.
Often, again, early morning hours, late at night. But
was it continuously like throughout the day? Like he would hit one and hit another?
No, there was only, I believe, one time where he would hit multiple. He had multiple stints going on, but that was only during the burglary. With the rapes, again, because he would tie up the male, rape the female, it was going on for hours. So,
Jesus Christ.
And then he would go ahead and he would leave. And again, the males were bound 4 hours on end in positions that were uncomfortable. They were tied up and whatnot.
He just bounced on them.
Exactly. And he made sure he would separate the two, but the stacked plates, the stacked glass is really what held that over.
Was that his escape plan, like just in general? Like it was just a threat. Would he ever have come back?
No, he never came back from what I know. He never had to double check because of that fear. Again, he would say, I'll shoot you if you do this, and I'll shoot her. So once he left, he left. I mean, he made sure that he wasn't going to get caught.
Right.
There was, like I said, a few sketches that were done. There was the 3 that were used most for the capture.
You said the very first one was like the most accurate, right?
I mean, I have it here, and he's... This one from one of the burglaries, that's what the sketch looked like. I know obviously the listeners can't hear it. But to me, that was a very big similarity. They don't have the picture of him from when he was younger, but I thought even down to the hair parted to one side, somebody had a great facial recognition, but unfortunately they didn't look in the right spots.
Yo, I'm going to say based off that picture, though, that dude's got a face that just screams, punch me.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah. Well, he got away with all this shit, too.
And, well, the composites were still pretty similar, too.
They
stayed the
just
same.
Aged up a little.
They aged up. They still had the hair parted one way or another. I mean, obviously, the hairstyles changed a little bit, but they were all pretty set in stone. I mean, they never deviated too much.
Then I got two questions. Quick questions.
Yeah.
Between those 2 pictures, how much time had passed? Do you know?
No, I don't know. But I know that it's crazy that the sketches that they used, and then when he was arrested in 2018, they had lined up previous pictures, and there's more information into that, obviously. But, I don't know the years in them. I don't know when they lined them up, but it was enough to say, hey, that's definitely him. Definitely the guy.
And that was him back then, too.
Yep.
Real quick, getting back, though, to the whole thing of, like, when you had asked if there was ever, like, a repeat, you know what I'm saying? I think one reasoning, too, maybe why it would have never happened, whatnot, is because if you went back and tried to do something again, not only maybe is the person more aware and trying to, like, because of the situation, but I feel like your chances of getting caught again,
what
I'm saying,
increase, as soon as you go back in. That's very true.
So to keep it, to keep it moving and keep everything, unpredictable, just jumping and doing random, once, and then that's it.
Right. Is it really random though? I mean, it seems so professional though.
I mean, he does. He definitely does take, like, he definitely took his time and put in the work, but, like, to pick his victims, I mean, that's somewhat random, right? To be
absolutely.
Like,
I mean, he went for, I hate to say, the easiest target, but really, I mean, at first it was single females, living on the 1-story homes in an easy, accessible, and escapable area. And then he did go to, couples, but again, he kept the same MO where it was easily escapable, 1-story homes. And that's what makes it, they're vulnerable. So I don't know if it's so much as planned or random, but he had a plan.
Right. And he
absolutely.
It seems like he also definitely stepped up his challenge. Like, all right, I'm gonna go after 2 people instead of 1 now.
Yep.
Absolutely. Seemed like he was trying to play a game, almost with himself, to see how far he could stretch it.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, I mean, he did wind up going a little further.
Wow, okay.
When he became known as Ons, or the original Night Stalker, he did begin to kill his victims. So the first one got away. That's the only one that got away. But he did kill after. So it's not just, he went from burglaries, he escalated. Then he went to rape. Then he escalated, and then he was murdering.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was from 1979 to 1986 in Southern California when he moved. Again, they were able to link a lot of this from MO. They were able to link it eventually through DNA that they had, gotten from the crime scenes and whatnot, or when people reported. But
It's horrible.
The step up in it too.
Yeah, he definitely wasn't, somebody that was to be taken lightly.
Right.
He went on for a while. He didn't just do one or two. And then even though he didn't do one or two, it wasn't like, in a month or 2 months or 3 months or a year to 12 months. He thought it out, He 1973 through 1986. So that's 13
crazy.
years.
That's 13 years of killing and doing everything else.
Yeah.
Do you know, or did they ever explain how he killed his victim? Was there ever a specific way or method that he did,
Yeah.
Good question.
So he would a lot of the time shoot them or
Okay.
he would beat them.
Okay.
Pretty
them to
simple.
death.
It was never anything that was some crazy ritual where, you hear they bring them out back and then they shoot them mafia style or whatnot.
Yeah,
But he
none of
definitely
that
beat
movie
them or he
shit.
shot them. Yeah. Right. He did, just like you said, with the Zodiac Killer, he often would he would communicate and he would kind of like torment the police or he would torment, California.
Interesting.
Golden State Killer, he did as well. He actually did try to communicate. He had 2 written communications and 8 phone calls. His last phone call was actually in 2001, and it was kind of a remember me type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "Do you remember when we used to play?" or some form of those words. And so he was a very angry man, and he wanted to be heard. I actually have one of those writings here. So his one writing is called Excitement's Crave. All of those mortals surviving birth, upon facing maturity, taking inventory to their worth, to prevailing society. Choosing values becomes a task. Oneself must seek satisfaction. The selected route will unmask. Character when plans take action. Accepting some work to perform at fixed pay, but promise for more, is a recognized social norm, as is decorum, seeking love. Achieving while others are lifting should be cause for deserving fame. Leisure tempts excitement seeking. What's right and expected seems tame. Jesse James has been seen by all, and Son of Sam has an author. Others now feel temptation's call. Sacramento should make an offer to make a movie of my life that will pay for my planned exile. Just now, I'd like to add the wife of a mafia lord to my file.
Jesus
Your
Christ.
East Area Rapist and deserving pest. See you in the press or on TV.
Wow. See you in the press.
Yeah,
oh my God.
The other writings, there was a map found. It was a punishment map, and he had homework pages. So there was a lot of titled work. Mad is the world, the punishment map. On the opposite side of the map, the word punishment was actually written out on the paper.
Wow.
That's so it became known as his punishment map. And yeah, his last phone call was 2001. So he really,
how the hell did he have all the time to do all this? My God.
He retired as a mechanic, if that gives you a little sense.
The mechanic retirement. Jesus.
Yeah, so he wasn't a police officer for the whole time. Again, he got fired when he was caught stealing. So I guess he did have some free time, or he had enough free time. He did have a normal-ish life where he did marry. Again, he only divorced recently in 2019
after getting caught.
Yep.
Right.
It's been noted he has had outbursts. He even brought up the the East Area Rapist every now and again in conversation, but who would have thought, because serial killers are interesting to the American population, so just bringing it up in a breath or two is nothing to that guy.
Do you think that
crazy.
he may have been inspired or studied maybe some of the ways and style that the Zodiac Killer did things? Because like you had mentioned, they do similar things. You think maybe he might have not so much copycatted, you know what I'm saying, but like taking a little bit of the dude's game, or the Zodiac
created
Killer's
his own
game,
legend.
and
But still, yeah.
And then maybe used him. Maybe Zodiac Killer was an inspiration to.
So I think that back in the day, the Zodiac Killer was very, very infamous. Everybody knew who he was. Everybody wanted to know who he was, obviously, in the sense. But I think it wasn't how we see it now, where you do get copycat killers, copycat serial killers. I think what his outcries was more of a way to torment people, a way to say, hey, I'm out here, not more of a way to gain that capital that Zodiac Killer had. I mean, he successfully got away with it for,
damn near his entire life.
Yeah, until 2018, until retirement.
Right.
So maybe he did get a few ideas, but I can't confidently say that. I would say more or less, the two have similarities, but are still very different.
Right. I mean, at this point, he created his own legend. So,
yeah, definitely.
Honestly.
But yeah, so they didn't make the connection until Ons to Ears in 2001. So again, they didn't connect the East Area Rapist to the original Night Stalker until 2001. And that was connected from the MO. They actually started linking things by DNA. DNA was becoming more familiar in the sense the FBI was becoming more aware. One of the things that was pertinent was the fact that in 2010 they did link DNA to more rapes. It was becoming, they were on the trail.
Right.
It wasn't something that they were doing just to reach out there. They were actively still trying to capture this guy who's so easily evaded law enforcement for the longest time. It wasn't until 2016 where there was a $50,000 reward put in place, and there was new sketches, there was new details coming about.
Right. New technologies.
New technology, absolutely.
Yeah,
and I mean,
sure.
It's only in the last 5-6 years where it started getting that leeway. He wasn't coined the Golden State Killer until 2013. It was a writer, and that also helped to kind of get the ball rolling again. And like you guys have said, America's fascinated by serial killers, so that definitely helped it. The whole reason he was caught was DNA. So it was actually genetic genealogy that had linked him to others. So it wasn't his DNA that caught him. It was the DNA, which we all kind of, we all have familial DNA, but Ancestry.com, that kind of stuff. So they've had DNA from his ancestors, the genealogy, the geo matches, and it showed, it showed relatives. So, so he wasn't caught on his own. He actually had 25 family trees that shared the same DNA that he did. So just think about that. You have let's just say 25 family trees. Let's say there's 1,000 people in those family trees. So the law enforcement had to comb through every single one of those family trees because they all had similar DNA.
Right, just to bring it back to this guy.
Yeah, just to bring it back to him. Well, the tree that he was caught on, the family tree, had 1,000 relatives still.
Wow.
So, including him. So, they had to comb through 1,000 more people.
Right, so it was a massive effort, too.
Exactly.
And they were willing to go through it, too.
And they were willing to go through it. That's...
I was going to say 50 G's. Yeah, they went hard.
Well, so I'm not sure how it works if the government captures him, where the money would go, but I don't know where it's allocated.
Yeah,
that's true.
Where does
Still, taking the time to have to siphon through 1,000.
Oh yeah, there was teams that were dedicated to that, and obviously DNA only became a real help in the last 20 years anyway. So they're getting all of it together, I'm sure, took a tremendous amount of time, a tremendous amount of work. Aside from that, they obviously had to narrow it down by age, sex. They had to look through place of residency. So, I mean, if you had, his brother or his cousin, his mother, his uncle, whatever in New York, obviously that person would be eliminated.
Right.
So they had to really dive down deep, and they did have another suspect, but they were able to rule him out.
Okay.
It wasn't until 2018 that he was arrested in April. And then April 18th, though, is when they got his DNA. They had touch DNA from his car handle, the door handle.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, touch DNA was becoming big, and they compared it, and that's where they were able to nail him. Mm-hmm. He was also nailed from a tissue that was in his garbage.
Wow.
So,
was this like a chance occurrence? What happened? Is it just something that is just like just a chance occurrence? Like he made a mistake. Did he make a mistake to get caught?
Oh, no.
No, he didn't?
No. They had DNA from way back.
I got you.
And then as they kept working on the case.
Right, they were setting files aside.
Exactly. And then again, when everybody does their family trees and everybody does whatever, or let's just say his great-great-great-great-grandfather was arrested, and they take the fingerprints and they swab and they do whatever. It goes in a database.
Mm-hmm.
actually, fun fact, California is one of the states that had the leeway for the DNA database.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah,
based on stuff like this?
Based on stuff like this.
Okay.
They're one of the leadway for that. And so that's, essentially what got him caught is his family members.
Right,
it wasn't
right.
him. He was never in the system. He didn't have the DNA down. None of that.
But they were just like getting DNA and just, were they going and asking and they were willingly giving up their DNA, or were they just like taking like more of a, I guess, a stealth route of like stealing stuff that they could, or getting evidence?
I think it was at that point, it would have been, it's public. That they would have gotten the genealogy data from the family trees and the genealogy,
the ancestry and all
that.
Okay.
Yeah. I know that they did take a few actual DNA tests to limit down and narrow down.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they, like I said, they had 2 suspects, and then that's how they narrowed down to him, because the other suspect, the other family member, didn't have a DNA match. Yeah. Yep. And then, so he actually, it was questionable how the FBI had gone about and gotten the forms of DNA. There was a lot of questioning behind that. So it's not just you that had the questioning. Yeah, I mean, they had gotten the tissue out of roadside garbage from his house. So it was in his trash can.
Technically public, I guess.
Yeah. So once you put it out to the street, or you put it in, your garbage taker's container, assuming that it's public.
Right.
But yeah, so
did the FBI ever get like catch an L for doing that? Because I know even though it's like all these odd methods and stuff, they didn't really make a big story out of that.
No. So on this case, it wasn't a problem. I mean, once they had his DNA, I guess it was kind of set in stone.
Right.
Even on top of that, though, he did make a confession. He confessed after all these years.
Fuck out of here.
However, he did claim that his alter ego, who he named Jerry.
Okay.
He did it.
Jerry did it.
He said that he actually couldn't quiet the voice inside, and Jerry overpowered him, and he had no way to suppress Jerry, and Jerry made him commit these crimes.
Now, this would be the question, is that him lying, or is it really that bout of psychosis where he has flipped into Jerry?
So I would not say it's him lying. He could very much have a mental disorder, which would have had an alter ego form, and then at the time the alter ego is telling him to commit these crimes or telling him whatever. At that point, I don't think it's a lie, just because he did confess.
Right.
And the confession, it wasn't coerced, it wasn't on condition to anything. He was actually going to be charged. He was going to be given the death penalty. They submitted the death penalty, but the deal wasn't taken on time. So it expired. So he then did take death penalty, became off the table after he confessed to the certain amount of crimes.
What? So he also escaped that too?
So to get a confession, so actually check this out, right? He did escape the death penalty. And that was because that they had estimated that the case would have cost them $20 million, $30 million. And it would have taken about 10 years. And,
10 years.
And at that point, they had the confessions. They had everything written down, aside from the statute of limitations.
On everything else, right?
Yeah. And they didn't get him on every crime, but they got him on enough crimes. They got him with 13 counts of murder, 13 counts of kidnapping. They did seek the death penalty, but because of the cost and the time, they didn't want to drag it on. So that was one of the big factors. The death penalty, they wanted it. They wanted it.
Did he want it?
He did not want the death penalty. That's why there was an offer that as long as he confessed and as long as he pled guilty, death penalty would have been taken off the table.
Wow.
The deal fell through. It expired. And then a day later, it was put back on the table, and he did plead guilty on June 29th to avoid the death penalty. On August 21st, he did get sentenced to multiple consecutive life sentences, and he had to apologize to the victims. There were victim impact statements that were read, and he did give an apology. He did say, I'm sorry for the pain that I caused you.
I'm sure you are. Sure you are.
The interesting thing is, for the court case, the judge ruled that cameras would be allowed in the courtroom. So, all of it's very interesting. He did get life sentences. Death penalty was taken off.
But does it matter if he's like in his late age? He probably doesn't even care.
Yeah, I would say no. I mean, he was given 12 consecutive life sentences. So even if he was younger, there's no way he would see the light of day. Actually, no way he was getting out.
In prison anyway.
Exactly. Right. I mean, now he is in protective custody in jail or prison. So it's... you can't really assume he has such a life, but at the same time, he has a life.
He has a life. He's alive.
Yeah. So,
do you know what prison he's in?
No, I don't. I don't know what prison.
Okay.
But yeah, he's a very interesting. I mean, and again, the reason he is so interesting because he's not your average serial killer, and by average, I just mean, he's not a psychopath. He's no Ted Bundy. He's no Jeffrey Dahmer. He's no Charles Manson.
But he got off to it though.
He did.
That's why he kept
got off.
escalating.
He
everything.
was he had outbursts, history of outbursts. I mean, he had the childhood history of killing and torturing animals,
right?
And so he had that anger, and he liked the control. He would get off on the control,
right. And this was his final outlet, as it were.
Correct. That is his final final outlet, and that's what he got. To answer your question, on November 3rd, 2020, he was moved to North Kent State Prison. He's incarcerated in protective custody at the California State Prison in Corcoran.
Is it maximum security? I don't know if that is.
Corcoran.
I
would assume it's maximum security.
Right, like nobody's seeing him.
Yeah, that's I would hope so at least. But he's an old man these days, and although he tried playing that card, he tried, appealing to the elderly point of view. He was actually filmed in his cell, moving out and about like a normal
person.
Man. Yeah.
Right. Just fine. My God.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a ridiculous story, man. I have to say. That is just ridiculous.
That was very interesting. That was cool though too, because like you had mentioned, this guy Joseph D Angelo, he wasn't very at least I wasn't too familiar with him. And he wasn't one of the normal, serial killers or whatnot that everyone hears about, which made it really interesting. I did want to ask though, for both of you,
sure.
What do you think makes a serial killer like do what they do? Do you think it's like mental issues, or like is it safe to say that they have, suffered from some sort of abuse?
Right. If I want to go first, you want to go first? Sorry.
So I think that serial killers, I think some of it's boredom. I think some of it, they do get off on something in a sexual arousal sort of sense.
Right.
But I also do think that you do get the cases where they do have some forms of childhood trauma or childhood abuse to kind of cause that snap. And then, boom, psychopath is born. Right. Boom, serial killer from there. But serial killers are rare. They're not just something that every psychopath is a serial killer or every killer is a serial killer.
Right.
Yeah, so I think it could be a combination of both, some sort of sexual arousal, some sort of trauma, some sort of mental disability.
Right.
A lot of serial killers and or psychopaths do have other mental disabilities. So they antisocial disorders and whatnot.
Right. I've always thought from childhood trauma, that's what I always thought it was. Or like some sort of trauma or something that has happened to them and then, they just break or they just snap. But I never would have thought boredom, though.
Yeah, I mean, maybe
that's pretty extreme.
Yeah,
that's
maybe not so much serial killers in the sense of boredom, but at the same time, I mean, the whole thing with a lot of, again, not every serial killer, but a lot of serial killers are psychopaths, and they don't have that ability to normalize, and they like the intricate stuff. So that's where it comes from, is they plan out these murders. They plan
and then execute it.
And then they execute it, and they get off on the sexual arousal, and then they have to clean it up and whatnot. So it's just something that really, it's something that gets them the thrill of not getting caught, the thrill of doing it, and then the thrill of going back to your normal life. So not boredom in the sense of like, okay, I'm bored, so I'm gonna eat some food. But I'm bored in the sense that I need that mental stimulation.
Right.
Damn. That is.
It's like in Dexter. That's that Dexter level shit.
Yeah, that's opinion only, though. I can't speak definite, but in my opinion, definitely a combination of boredom amongst other things, mental disability, or
usually the most popular telltale signs they usually say are like as young children they torture animals, or they have suffered some form of mental or sexual abuse by a family member. Yeah, absolutely correct. So and then so that triggers maybe anger, maybe as they grow, they've learned maybe the only way to fix things and whatnot, right, is when they're angry, and then shit snaps and they do crazy things and don't even realize what they're doing.
Yeah.
You know?
Now, do you have a lot of instances of what Josh was saying where they they snap and then they snap back to whatever their reality is? Or is it like, okay, I have killed now, I'm just going to ease back into being whatever I was doing?
I mean, it depends on the serial killer you're looking at. So, like, obviously, the most famous one people talk about is Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy was able to be the charmer. He was able to go along with life and have this big smile on his face and charm
even
ladies.
the women still wanted him, even while he was being sentenced.
Yeah, and I mean,
it's
that's
crazy.
Same thing as Charles Manson, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I believe Charles Manson actually got married in prison.
Wow.
I don't know if it was multiple times or just once, but so, you know, it's a way with words, really. But I know,
yeah, definitely,
it's the image of like almost being a rock star. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like
yeah,
people are infatuated by
exactly. 100. I mean,
which is weird.
I won't lie. When I was younger, I was like, "Oh my god, it'd be such a thrill to write one of these serial killers in prison." And then I was like, "Yeah, I'd rather not. That's not my address. Doesn't need to be out there."
Right.
But it's the infatuation and it's that whole the stardom, if you will.
Is there also the little touch of these women going after him, trying to reform him? Like, oh yeah, I'll date him and make him a better person or something. Even though
I'm
he's
sure,
in jail.
but most of the time,
that's ridiculous.
Men serial killers, for example, Ted Bundy, Charles Manson, they have the way with words to convince people that actually, and I think you guys talked about, and this isn't on the serial killer, but the escape from the prison.
The prison break, right?
You had them coax the female into helping work with them and help them potentially escape. You know, so
then she fell off.
One of the biggest things with psychopaths, and again, not every serial killer is a psychopath, but the way to manipulate, and that's really what you have to look at. So manipulating these females that they marry or that they get to be infatuated with them. So maybe not so much that these women want to save them or these women want to help them and show them the light, but also they manipulate them into seeing that I'm this great man, I'm this amazing,
this serves like a greater purpose in life.
Exactly. In the instance of Charles Manson, I mean, he was a cult leader. And that's what cults are circled around.
That's
so
true.
Yeah.
It's about its power of manipulation, way of words, and
having that sway, and just enjoying and reveling in being able to sway people like that.
100%. And I know, I mean, as for the childhood trauma, and one of the killers we didn't get to talk about today was Eileen Warno. She had that sense. Eileen Warno, she is a female serial killer, Florida. She was a prostitute. She was a prostitute from a young age.
Okay. How young?
I believe 12, 13 years old. That's when she started doing sex work. And she winded up killing her Johns. She killed multiple Johns, 7 or 8, over the course of 12 months.
That's wild.
She was adopted at a young age by her maternal grandparents. She again got into sex work at a young age, so she did have that trauma. Her parents were unstable, the grandparents were unstable, there was a family history of mental illness.
Okay.
From there, with sex work, that's traumatic on its own. She was a young mother. I don't recall the age. The baby was given up for adoption, and then she kept doing sex work, and she eventually she snapped. According to her, depending on which story you listen to her saying, she was assaulted or raped by the Johns. So she resulted in killing them.
In kind. It's so crazy. I'm just...
Yeah, no, I mean, further down the line, she tested positive for, 32 out of 40, I believe, on the psychopath exam, which if you're really feeling adventurous, you can take that online. It's yes or no questions. But she was one of the earliest known female psychopathic serial killers, and she was sentenced to the death penalty. She actually agreed to the death penalty to make her wrongs right, in a sense, is what she said.
Do you think she was being genuine with it, or?
Oh, no, absolutely not. Psychopaths aren't really too genuine.
Right.
I know there were stories that she was being, abused in prison by the correctional officers, fellow inmates, and whatnot. Right. And she was a
bitch to the very end.
Well, she had said at one point that she also she couldn't escape her torture in prison.
That's
so
crazy.
She wanted to escape it in one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
So that also goes to the aspect of the childhood trauma. You know, she did have a rough upbringing. She was born in Michigan. She moved to Florida, and that's where her sex work was done. That's where her killings were done.
Yeah.
They were all male. You know, they were all shot. There's similarities. It wasn't a one-time thing. She was seen driving their car. She was seen with them last. She was, So it wasn't, you know, can you say that that's from childhood trauma? Absolutely. Maybe there was some sort of break that if she had gotten a teddy bear instead of a beating, or she had gotten a teddy bear instead of left with her grandparents, you know,
right.
she would have come out different, but it's hard to say.
I would have a question then. Now that the dynamic has changed, her being one of the first female ones, did she get, like when she was being sentenced and when she was caught and the jury and everything, did she get like, what am I trying to say here? Did she get like some sympathy from the crowd because she's a woman?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
I would have to look more into that, but I want to say no due to the fact of the instance of her killings, the murders.
Right.
I mean, she's a killer. She might be a female, but she did
still
kill people in
That's
cold
very
blood.
True. It's very true.
She shot, like I said, she shot him. So
Wow.
can you feel bad for what she went through, or quote unquote her story? Maybe obviously sex work is a hard lifestyle to live, but was every John that she shot somebody that
was a bad person?
Was a bad person,
Right.
or did she? You know, she always claims that the first John that she did shoot was raping her.
Okay.
That is something
that may
is
be true.
very true. So did
Right.
that trauma trigger
Right.
the rest of the killings? And maybe she did see, you know,
Like
it's
she
hard
saw
to
him
tell.
every single time.
But it
Right.
is, it's, you have to chalk it up though, because she did score on as a psychopath. So was some of it manipulation? Was she trying to manipulate, you know, the jury? Was she trying to manipulate the reporters?
The judge. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a movie that came out that it's an hour and a half, I believe, and you could watch it. It's on YouTube. You could find it anywhere to give you a little more in depth. But she definitely
have to check that out for
sure. She's a, you know, as a female serial killer, it's interesting. You don't have a lot of them.
Yeah,
No,
that does make it interesting, being the fact that she is a female. The whole going back to the jury thing, feeling sympathy. Yeah, I can understand maybe not feeling sympathy because of what she did in the extreme, but the fact, maybe just the general shock of, you know, her being a female,
right?
Like,
I was also trying to make parallels as well to like Charles Manson, because apparently they got sympathy. You know what I mean? Or some level of sympathy versus her.
It's hard to compare the two because Charles Manson's quote unquote the family.
The family, right?
They were a cult. You know, the followers, he was to them, you know, their higher power. So what he said, it goes. You roll with it, you know. So they were in a sense
getting it for free.
It's almost when, you know, somebody's kidnapped and then they start to sympathize with their kidnappers. So that's kind of how that was thought. One of the things that should be noticed is now in court, in New York State at least, you can't hold a victim's past history against them. So let's say, you know, she's a sex worker. Well, you're a sex worker, but you were raped. So that can't be held against them or held to them. They can't even bring that up.
Wow.
Now in Florida, and at this time, it was different. So maybe even, you know, you're asking if as a female she had some sympathy. Well, as a sex worker, would she have had sympathy?
See, that's interesting. Maybe not
so
too. More likely
definitely
not.
There's a lot of things to circle on there, and even with that instance, or the sympathy, as in the whole Charles Manson, the family thing,
right?
You know, they're not quite the same thing. Charles Manson himself, he was a psychopath. You know, Eileen Warno was a psychopath, but Charles Manson, he had a cult, and Eileen Warno had a gun. You know, and
a lot of dead Johns. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Absolutely.
You guys want to touch on anything else real quick? We're going to be wrapping it up soon.
Oh, no. That's good. That's good, definitely. I mean, honestly, I had this one thing. I would just push it out real quick, but I think you may find it interesting. It was known as the Hinterkaifeck murders. It was a bunch of Germany murders that occurred in, it says right here, March 31st, 1922.
Oh, wow.
And I'll just read it straight off, but in which 6 inhabitants of the small Bavarian farmstead, it was about 70 kilometers from Munich, Germany. They were all murdered by an unknown assailant. And there were 6 victims. And after varying in age, oldest was 72, youngest was 2.
Damn.
And there was a maid that also died, and she was like 44. They were all found struck dead, so it wasn't like gunshots or anything. They were like bludgeoned to death. And it says the perpetrator lived with the 6 corpses of their victims for 3 days, and that the murders were considered one of the most gruesome and puzzling unsolved crimes in German history.
Damn.
Yeah. So even on top of that, they have this can honestly be its own type of I guess episode. They have like 6 different victims. They have some victims that were like twins or brothers rather, and then they have like all these other victims, and that none of them could be passed as the killer.
So they didn't catch him.
They didn't catch him at all.
Wow.
Damn.
Since 1922.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I wanted to slide that in real quick at least.
Yeah,
but you
no,
may find it interesting.
absolutely.
I'll definitely link it to you.
Yeah, I would love to read more about that.
For
That's
sure.
nuts.
What's the age of that? What would that make him? 1922.
1922? I mean, I could quickly do that math.
To right now.
To right now?
So that's about 100 years.
100 years,
So
yeah.
he's-
Definitely.
And that's
99.
assuming. So did they have any sort of inkling of who it was?
They have actually no inkling of who it is because everything is contested.
Wow.
I could actually scroll down here. But yeah, it was 99 years.
Damn.
And all right, I'll go down to this part. It was the inconsistencies. They said in the inspection of the record of the court commission, it was noted that the victims were probably drawn to the barn by restlessness in the stable, resulting from noises with the animals. An attempt later, however, revealed that at least human screams from the barn could be heard in the living area.
Wow.
So consider the idea of it
Damn.
being back in the early 20s. You know, they don't have like technology or anything.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's people at least living in proximity that can hear these screams. But since there's like really no evidence to go on, that leads to the inconsistencies.
So that's like a Jack the Ripper. They never know.
Exactly. Jack the
Never
Ripper
know.
thing. Yeah, exactly.
So now my one question, is this mass murder or serial killing?
See, that I don't know. Me personally, I don't know. Now after
So-
listening to the entire conversation that we just had.
I would say, yeah.
They
almost
said mass
That,
murder.
that sounds like mass murder.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Home
Yep.
invasion definitely, and mass murder.
Yeah, that's nuts. That's
Right.
a lot of bodies.
Right.
That's a lot to live with.
Now, what would be, that leads me to an actual great question. The difference between the psychology psychology of a mass murderer versus like an actual psychopath / serial killer.
Okay.
Like what's the difference between them?
So as far as I know, a lot of mass murders can be crimes of passion.
Okay.
Crimes for a reason.
Mhm.
One of the less able to connect would be the Las Vegas shooter. That's mass
yeah,
murder.
exactly.
They couldn't find a reason. They knew he was a gambler, that he quite possibly owed money.
He lost it all.
They couldn't link really anything. However, he
Yeah, it's
did
a big
shoot a lot of
conspiracy.
people.
It really is.
Yeah, but then you also have, mass murder a couple weeks ago where the gentleman, I don't want to say gentleman, the shooter went into the Asian massage parlors. He shot a lot of people, mass murder.
Right.
So in these cases, hate, passion, stuff like that.
Right.
Serial killers are more precise.
And they work this out.
They work it out. There's
Okay.
a lot goes behind it, and then like a lot of the times they're psychopaths. They're not somebody who's going to get caught. They're not getting caught in your average crime.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
they
They're
try.
more than likely trying to get away.
Yeah, and a lot of psychopaths do try to live a normal life. They don't really truly try to stand out, and that goes the same for serial killers. You won't have anybody who's making a broadcast,
I just
like
did
the
it.
Vegas shooter or
Right.
like the shooter down in Georgia.
Very true. And then definitely not going for suicide by cop.
No, absolutely
Okay.
not. No, they're not. They don't want the infamy, and a lot of times they do like to live up to the crime.
Wow.
They like the game. It's all about the game. I mean, Ted Bundy changed his story how many times?
Oh,
Ted Bundy did
Jesus.
how many?
Right.
How many reporters went and interviewed him? So it's not about the whole boom. It's about I like the game. I like the chase. It's cat and mouse. They get
Right.
off on
Yeah.
that.
And they also
They-
get
they
off on
love
just
that.
smiling and keeping them wondering and
Oh
everything.
yeah, 100%.
All right. Before we close it up, I want to ask you guys: do either of you have any favorite movies based off serial killers or about a particular serial killer?
What is that? American Psychopath?
great.
Yeah.
American Psycho.
Great movie.
American Psycho.
American
Yeah.
Psycho.
Yo, shout out Christian Bale.
Christian Bale, 2000.
I have that written down. It's one of my favorites. I think that movie is amazing.
Yeah, do you?
I love it. And I think it shows a side of all of us. You know, I feel like sometimes we do feel like.
Do you think you could snap one day and do something like that?
No,
or are you just so disillusioned with the world?
It's crazy though, because like, you know, I mean the movie's so old, I'm sure everyone's seen it.
Still
but, like,
relevant, bro. Still relevant.
He, you know, that was all the shit played out in his head.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So crazy. That one's a great one.
I don't. Besides American Psycho, that is an awesome movie. It's a very dark movie.
It's a dark movie,
but Christian Bale plays the character phenomenally.
Excellently, excellently.
Really, I'm more of a documentary kind of person, and I kind of just watch whatever I can find that relates to it. I did, however, start watching a movie on Prime about Charles Manson. I can't remember the name right now, but it's more focuses on the females.
Okay.
So it's from the females' point of view for the most part. And it is on Prime. And it's free. That's the important part.
I'll have to check that out. Do they give like the story and the backgrounds of each of these females?
No, they don't so much give the story. So it starts off showing them in prison, and then it flashes back to them, you know, associating with Charles Manson and how everything was led about to happen.
Right.
Oh, Charlie Says.
Damn, I just got it. Yeah, yep. Charlie Says that it's don't get me wrong, it makes you very like skeevy almost the way it was filmed. Oh, is it very dark and gritty and everything like that?
It's just
like
the way it was filmed was very dark, and of course you see these females and they still support him even while being in jail.
Wow.
And you're like, holy crap, how you did all that shit, and this is what happened.
Yeah, it's very true.
But I love cult shit, so
right on.
Just like Waco on Netflix, amazing.
Waco,
shout out
to Waco.
Right on.
Jesus,
you got any more
good
movies on? All right, let me just hit a few. What do you guys think of? I got on the list Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Nice, good call.
They actually just started a series.
Yes, actually, I think I seen. I remember seeing previews for that.
Yep.
Do you know the name?
No, it goes from Clarice's point of view.
Right.
What?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
I wish I could remember the name now too.
Yeah. If you can't quote "Silence of the Lambs," I don't want to be your friend.
No.
Specifically, put the lotion on the skin.
Get the hose
again.
There you go. That movie's amazing. We mentioned it earlier, but I did have written down The Zodiac Killer.
Absolutely. Great movie.
I also have the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Leatherface
has been redone so many times, but
right. My favorite one was the one with Jessica Biel.
Yes, that is the best one. Very, very dark, and the way it was filmed, not so much as the gore parts of it, but it is very psychologically bent, if you will.
Yeah, I remember being young when that came out. I remember watching that movie in the movie theater, and when it was done, like when I was leaving, you just felt like you're like, oh my god, you know what I'm saying? Like, holy
you get
shit.
that sensation.
You wanted to shower.
Yeah, right. That tingling.
Yeah. And let's see, the last movie I have written down is of course Halloween.
Oh yeah. If
Myers.
you want to know what a psychopath is, watch Halloween.
Yeah.
Michael Myers right there.
Yeah.
The chainsaw.
Nope, Michael Myers.
No,
that's our wrong one.
Chef's knife.
That's right.
Yep,
Michael
with
chasing
mask.
after kids and everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
He goes back to his old home. And that's with Jamie Lee Curtis.
And
she was in the new ones too, though. She was in the new ones.
Wow.
Awesome. Absolutely.
Damn, I have to watch that one again. Jesus.
Yeah. Michael Myers is one of my favorite villains.
Yeah. You know, fun fact, when all the girls... When I was younger, when all the girls were dressing up as princesses for Halloween, I had my mom buy me a Michael Myers mask and a jumpsuit. So,
you know, I think that that mask is one of the scariest masks.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I remember now. Yeah,
I had that in the after Halloween. It was sitting in the corner of my room, and I remember I had to put that in my closet because it was freaking me out. It was freaking me out.
Yeah. Let's bring this down to an end. So, Melissa,
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Yes, thank you.
No problem. This was great. Fun. You guys are great.
Yeah.
We appreciate that.
We definitely appreciate
a lifelong subscriber here.
Thank you. Awesome.
+1.
Yeah,
that's what it's all about.
That means a lot. Absolutely.
Awesome.
We love when everyone spreads the love.
Right.
Do you want to plug or shout out anything or anyone or your social media to the listeners?
Yeah, absolutely. So I got to give my boyfriend Roman credit. He puts up with me watching all this stuff and documentaries and creepy movies all the time.
Shout out to Roman.
Yeah, even in the middle of the night. And then obviously I want to shout out at the Millennial Veteran on Instagram and Facebook. Big part on the veteran community, especially for the millennial generation.
Oh, God bless. That's true.
Yeah, we work hard on that. Vet chats every Sunday. Tune in. And then last, please like and follow me on Instagram at Clever Canine LLC. That is my business page. I am a dog trainer and I tried my hardest to get out there. So
nice.
Yeah.
And she served in the Navy too.
Absolutely.
Shout outs to that too.
And I
thank you.
Big presence in the Millennial Veteran. So if you see one, you'll see the other.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely.
All right. We want to thank and shout out our editor, Deirdre.
Mm-hmm.
Great
shout out
job.
to Deirdre. Thank you.
Yes,
thank you for everything that you do.
Yeah, thank you for making this beautiful.
We also want to shout out our day oneers.
Thank you for the day oneers.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Everybody that has been here since the first episode. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for your continued love and support that you show to us, and it's all relative. We see all of you and we love you.
Yes, dearly.
Let's shout out a few day oneers for this week. Two that I want to focus on. One being Jessica Watts, and that is at _Jess Watts _. That is her Instagram. She is holding it down for Detroit. I met her in Florida when I lived in Florida. I worked with her, and when you move to different parts, of the world or country or whatnot, or different states, you link up with certain people.
Right.
Yep.
And some stay on.
And when you leave, there are a certain few that you remember for real. So
keep in contact, no matter what.
Of course, definitely.
Yeah, she's definitely one of those. She was a super sweet and cool chick, and she's definitely been a supporter, and we wanted to shout and thank her out. And the second being Anthony DiCaprio, and that is at Tismare219. That is his Instagram. He's holding it down for New York. We want to thank both of you for your love and support. We really appreciate it.
All right.
You got anyone?
Yeah, I got one particular person. When I used to play Final Fantasy 14, there was one particular person that in my group that loves me and Deirdre so much, and to this day, he listens to every single episode. I just found out about this, and his name is Jester, at least in game. So Jester, you know who you are. Shout outs to you. But he loves this podcast.
Nice. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
That's really cool.
Definitely.
That's awesome.
And then the next one isn't a shout out. It's more of a sorry, but Black Rob passed away while we were here. So Black Rob, musician,
really,
yeah,
that's
yeah, a rapper and former Bad Boy Records artist. Black Rob has died at 51.
Wow,
They're dropping young.
Yeah, they're dropping. Yeah,
that's a shame.
That's a shame. He was very good at his craft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thoughts and prayers to him and his family.
Sorry
his
to put it on a low note.
No.
Yeah.
No, but thank you for letting everybody know.
For sure.
Got that live.
Yeah.
You want to hit them with your social accounts?
Oh yeah. So I'm on Twitter. It's Retro Show, RETROSHO. Spelled it right this time. And on Instagram, it is Tunde 2017. That's TUNDE 2017.
Nice.
And see a handsome boy and his mom. Love that picture.
Nice. You guys can always find me at Josh_Toth3. That's my Instagram. And my Facebook is Joshua Toth. The message option on Anchor.
Please.
You want to?
Yes, sir. Sure.
Go ahead.
On every episode that we drop, there is an option where you guys can message in. You can ask your questions. You can give us any critiques that you have. You can give any shout outs that you want to give. And we will play it back and run it on the next episode live. So when you click on one of these episodes on Anchor, you scroll down a little bit, there's a message option. It's an audio message. So if you want to drop us some message. Let us know.
Absolutely.
Let us know how you love this episode.
Yeah, fans, listeners, everybody, use that message option.
Please.
Hit it up, leave us a message. We will edit it in the next episode,
Yes, sir.
and you will hear yourself live.
Right. Question and all.
Absolutely. Lastly, please continue to show It's All Relative your love and support. Find us on Apple, Spotify, Anchor, YouTube, and Google. And by using one or all of those platforms, please subscribe, follow, share, comment, leave a 5-star rating on the Apple page.
On top of it, please.
Absolutely. The 5 stars really help us and the podcast out.
Yes, it does. It definitely does.
Yeah, and we really appreciate that.
Yep.
So, all right, my man. That's a wrap.
Great. Episode 15.
Right? Yeah. Great job.
Great job, and thank you for being here.
Melissa,
thank you. Yeah, definitely. You got 5 stars from me, guys. This was great. 5 stars from both being on this end and listening. It's awesome. Good job.
Awesome. Thank you. We appreciate the love. All right, everyone, stay safe, and we'll see you all soon.
All right.
All right, peace.
Peace.
From my dog, like he sent me like the